Thank you
Ladies and
for.
gentlemen,
I'm
what were
sorry,
you
I
saying?
messed it up. I'm the
No,
shit.
you all right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Unfiltered Tales Season 5, Episode 12. Today, I'm joined with comedian, writer, Joy Alicia. How you doing today?
I'm great. I'm so happy to speak to you. So thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for coming on. But before we get started, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Wow, I haven't been asked this question before as far as for this book. So I am a writer. I am a journalism major and an advertising major. And so writing has always been a passion of mine. So I wrote a book and I really
Mhm.
want to help people learn how to date, learn how to have fun dating and not be frustrated by it. And so yeah, I'm just a writer with a dream and a comic and I put it all together, all of that in the book.
Okay. Oh, all right. So the book that she's actually speaking of, actually, where did I just put it at? So drunk a tooth's gotta go. This is her book. It's an essay on dating hacks, breakups, traveling, comedy, the gig economy, and more. Before we jump into that, what made you decide to write this book?
I always wanted to write a book. I didn't know if I had it in me. Everybody says writing a book is so hard, and none of those people are lying. That is no cap. It is extremely, extremely hard, especially if you're not just trying to submit your first draft. You have to work on it for a very long time. So
Hmm.
I knew that I wanted to share my stories. I knew that I was great at writing jokes and humor, but I also
Hmm.
really wanted to help people as well. So it was basically an experiment. It was a goal of mine, but it was also an experiment because I didn't know if I was capable of it. So I wrote my book in the pandemic, which I'm so incredibly proud of. I'm so incredibly proud that I did something productive because some of the people I know, they did a lot of productive things, and I was jealous of everything they were accomplishing with their time off. And so
Right.
I utilized that time to write the book.
Oh, well, that's great. So how long did you wrote it during the pandemic? How long did it actually take you to write?
I believe it took about a year or more to write the book, and then it took about the same amount of time to edit the book.
Okay.
And the ad major in me knew that I'm not supposed to just tell my friends and family about it. So
Mhm.
I knew that I really needed to get my coins together, get my bread up if I'm going to put this out. And I also just didn't want to rush it. I did my research. I love my publicist. I had a PR firm. So I just wanted to do it the right way.
Okay. So how much of this book is actually tailored to you?
And well, I wrote it for my future audience or my current audience or my current readers. So
Hmm.
I wrote it for Gen Z and millennial women.
Hmm.
They are my target audience, but it's also for people who know women. But my target audience is Gen Z and millennial women. So when you say tailored to me, I'm not so sure what you mean by that.
No, no, no. Like when it's tailored, you said it's tailored to Gen Z and that generation. But when I say is it tailored to you, meaning it's like, are these true stories? Are these facts? Like I really went through this shit. Like this is what I'm saying. Like, is it tailored from your life?
Yeah, so this is a book of nonfiction essays. So nonfiction is true essays. So these are all about myself.
Okay.
So it's like, yes, this is nonfiction. So this is all about myself. So I guess what you're saying, like, was I writing about other people? No, this is like I'm the one who lost a tooth. That's why the book has the title. So drunk a tooth's gotta go. And I'm the one who um went through everything that I wrote about in the 19 chapters of the book.
Well, hold on. Before I get into my questions, how'd you lose the tooth?
Yeah, that's in the first chapter, so I do
I,
not give that away.
okay.
I do not give that away. That is in the first chapter.
I mean, I know the answer, but I just wanted you to say it. But again, we're not going to give any too many answers up to the book, so we want you to get her book. So drunk, a tooth's gotta go. It's on Amazon. That's the only one I've seen it on.
It's
Anything
on
else?
Barnes and Noble and the others, but I really recommend going to Amazon just to help with the sales ranking and things like that.
Okay. So now we're gonna get into it with Joy Alicia, who calls herself the online dating savior. You are the savior. You know, you are revolutionary. You you are the savior. You are the second coming of I don't know who's famous in this dating in these dating world. So before we get to the first question, what apps have you used?
Well, I've used a decent amount of them, and
Call them by names.
I don't like to be that specific. Like I did another interview where the host was like, "Well, what apps do you recommend?" And I said to him, certain apps work for some people and certain apps work for other people, and I
Mhm.
did put that on the book. So it's really not a one app fits all. I haven't
Okay.
tried them all. I will say I've tried a handful, and I have, my favorite that is works the best for me, and
And
then
which one
other
would that
people
be?
hate my favorite. So it just depends.
So which is your favorite that works for you?
No, why we do no, I don't. I'm sorry. I don't like being that specific.
You came on Unfiltered Tales, and on Unfiltered Tales, we have nothing's filtered. So if you feel like whichever app you using is your favorite, the listeners want to know, like, okay, which is her favorite. Nobody's going to say, I mean, I can see the comments since we're live, but nobody's going to say anything crazy, but we just want to know
Don't
what's
see
your
any
favorite.
comments. Where should I be looking?
Oh, the comments will pop up on the screen when I play when people start talking. They're not talking right now.
Okay, but where should I be so I could see them?
Oh, if I do this, let me just type me
Because
a
I'm
comment
not
for
seeing
myself.
anything right now at all. I just do. Should I be? Do I have to be
Right
logged
now,
on?
if I do
Okay.
that,
Okay.
that's me who
Okay.
just typed the comment in.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll put
Well,
comments up eventually as they come through.
yeah. So basically, I don't like to recommend any app because I know people who are married off of apps that I hate. And they're the app that I or apps that I love, other people hate. So it really just depends on the person. There's no right answer for that, to be honest.
No, it's no right answer, but it's your favorite, and that's what we want to know. What's your favorite?
I don't have one. How about
Well, then you
that?
just lied. You just lied to me 2 minutes ago. You just lied to me 2 minutes ago. So
I just feel too weird. I feel too weird like name dropping my favorite apps. That's all.
name dropping one because some okay. Here's a comment right there. I recommend leaving the house.
Well,
So
people, can I comment or respond to
you
that?
can say whatever you want to say. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I do leave the house. Everybody leaves the house, but it's also great to be able to meet people that you're not leaving the house and speaking to directly. If I'm out of the house and I'm not having a conversation with somebody, I'm not going to meet them. But if I'm online, I'm going to meet them online and have a conversation. I'm not just passing by.
Okay. Okay. So I guess the first question would be, since you the savior that won't tell us what your favorite is, how do you prevent yourself from getting ghosted?
So I have a whole section in my book about that because people love to ghost, whether that's online dating, that could be friendships, that could be businesses, companies that you applied to or had a relationship with professionally. So ghosting is very popular, but when it comes to online dating, I believe that I've figured out the cure for ghosting. or the prevention for ghosting. And I wrote about it in my book. So because I think it's such valuable advice, I won't disclose it on this podcast, but it is definitely possible to identify who would ghost you and to avoid going on a date with those people.
Well, I don't think we want to give the whole advice, but you got to give some people some type of juice to be like, oh, yeah, well, let me read this book, you know? So you got to give them something. You can't just say, I'm not going to give them, the whole chapter. I don't want you to give them the whole chapter. But if you can give them like a scenario or some type of advice,
Yeah,
it'll have people doing whatever. So
in
somebody, hold on, got a question. There you go.
so you could read them. You're so funny and so hilarious. You're like, there you go. I gotta read and
No, no,
answer.
no. How do we avoid the tender swindler?
So the Tinder swindler was asking women for money. So the easiest way to avoid the Tinder swindler is when somebody is asking you for money, you could exit the chat. Exit the chat as in be done with them. But as far as before they ask you, because it's not like he asked people up front, as
Hmm.
far as before they ask you, you just talk to them, have conversations with them, go out with them. The Tinder swindler, he really put forth an image of having money.
Hmm.
So if you're not talking to somebody who is only wearing designer on private jets, on the yachts, then that person is not trying to portray an image of being wealthy. So the Tinder swindler was trying to present himself as wealthy.
Hmm.
And, also it's like he was pretending to be a son of a jeweler, like a jewelry empire. Just
Hmm.
do your background checks, like do your investigation on someone who's coming to you like, oh, I'm the son of Bill Gates. Be like, okay, well, I'm gonna look into that. So yeah, with scammers, if you're talking about scammers, I mean, just do not give them your money and do not give them a lot of access to you anyways. Like whether somebody's a scammer or not, they shouldn't know everything about you up front.
Well, I don't think anybody in their right mind's going to lead with a regular person saying like I'm Bill Gates' son. I don't think nobody's going to lead with that. Me personally, I wouldn't lead with that. Um, I don't think you saw your promo today for your interview for your coming on the show where the young lady they were at a date and the young lady asked the man, "Let me see his bank account," and he said, "Yeah, sure, I'll show you my bank account," and he whipped out a scale and he told her take her makeup off because he said I want to see what the person looks under the representative. And the young lady got up from the table and said I ain't got time for that. How do you
I
think of
didn't
that?
see that. I didn't see that. Where was that posted?
Tagged on Instagram.
Yeah, I didn't see that, but I love everything about that story because basically when someone, can I curse on here?
Say whatever you need to say.
But basically when someone presents themselves as an asshole,
Hmm.
and it doesn't matter what gender that person is,
Hmm.
you are always lucky and fortunate if someone presents themselves as an asshole early on, because
Hmm.
that means that you are able to not spend a lot of time with them. So if somebody did exactly what you described to me about a scale and makeup and stuff,
Hmm.
I the next thing that person is looking at is the back of my head as I walk away. So I'd be so thankful that that person exposed themselves as an asshole.
But she exposed herself early. She asked him to see his bank account.
No, she asked him to see his bank account and he had a scale or whatever. And she left. Like, do I ask men to see their bank account on the first date? No. But I'm saying they both were not the right fit for each other. And I think it's great that they found that out
Hmm.
immediately instead of down the road.
Okay. So that's good. But so next thing, how do you like identify like you have confessions of a online dating catfish? Like how do you figure that person's a catfish before you even get a person. I mean, before you get a chance to meet them. I know obviously when you meet them that they become a catfish, but do you have any things before that lets you know this person might not be who they are on the internet?
Well, there's different verification options now on certain apps where you can they have to their profile has to be verified. So they have
Hmm.
to be verified as far as I think showing like taking selfies of themselves or showing their ID or something. I don't know. I've never verified one of my profiles, but when it comes to catfish, there's as far as like when it comes to the when we're talking about people looking like who they say they or looking like their profile photos, the
Hmm.
easiest way to figure out who doesn't look like their pros is by doing a video call because
Okay.
catfishes are not going to do a video call. But as far as
Mm.
like people lying about who they are, um, that's something that isn't as easy as hopping on a video call. But someone who is trying to like flex immediately, then yeah, there might be a reason why they're trying to reel you in by what they're telling about themselves.
So how many chances do you give to give a video call before you decide to say fuck it? I'm not dealing with this.
Well, I personally don't do any video calls.
Why's that?
So I personally don't do any video calls. I don't do any video calls because I refuse to put on makeup for someone I may not like in person. And as far as not putting on makeup, I want to put my best foot forward and meet people. So I'm not doing a video call because me not doing a video call, it turns off like 5% of men. And
Mm.
I'm glad. As I said, I'm always glad when people exit the chat early because I think nobody should be that hung up on being paranoid about possibly meeting a catfish. Like, I have a chapter in my book called Going Catfishing, and it is all about catfishing. So it's like I am not afraid of meeting catfishes. I've met catfishes. I'll probably meet more catfishes. The world kept spinning. I don't want to meet anyone who's so paranoid about meeting a catfish. Like that is not my person. I don't want to talk to them.
Well, you could do like Spike Lee and do the right thing when he took that hat off and let that hair get all naughty and basically saying, "See me, love me. This is me. This is who I am." You know what I'm saying? Because the thing is this: you say you putting on makeup, to get up for a person, but eventually the makeup gotta come off.
Yeah, and the thing is though, I just don't want anybody who's tripping on a video call. Like I said, so those people, like they are done with me and I am done with them. It is a mutual disinterest. I just don't want to meet anyone who's so paranoid about getting catfished because as I've said, I've been catfished. There's a chapter about my catfish encounters and all that and it'll happen again more than likely. The world kept spinning. It's not that serious to me. So I just don't want anybody who cares who's that worried about
Okay, so that's page 115.
it.
You know, that's page 115. Let's see what she's talking about. Let's see what she's talking about, ladies and gentlemen in the audience. Hmm. People who pretend to be someone. Oh, that's okay. That's just a definition. Mm, well, I can't read it all because it's a lot. You
I
talked
have
about.
been catfish multiple times and I have also been a bit of a catfish myself. So
Oh,
that is all in the chapter.
how have you been a bit of a catfish for yourself?
So I've been what they call a kitten fish. So a kitten fish is hotter photos of yourself. A catfish is photos of someone else.
I said, I think we're being catfish now. Okay. Finish what you're saying.
No, that was it. I'm just saying that I've, basically put my best foot forward and, sometimes I didn't look as hot in person. It's all in the chapter and those people went on to be my boyfriends. Like, It's not like it was a night and day difference. So I'm just
Mm.
saying that anybody who's so paranoid about the catfishing and stuff, like, great, talk to the next girl. Like, that's fine.
Well, you know, pictures are a thousand words, but some people are just not photogenic. Some people look better in person. Some people look better in pictures. It all depends. Just if you're photogenic or not. A lot of people not. I mean, and that goes through with filters and lighting and shading and angles, all of that. Everybody's not good with that.
Exactly. Like, I think I either look better or worse. Like, I just don't think that my pictures tend to be a completely accurate representation. I think I
Hmm.
look better or worse. Like, it's just like, I don't know. It's just that's just how it goes. But
Hmm.
I do think I'm pretty, so I don't really care about who doesn't think I'm pretty. Like, it's not that serious to me. I'm not going to be everybody's type. So.
Well, that's all that matters is that you got your own self-esteem. Your self-esteem
Mhm.
is up. You believe in yourself. So that's all that really matters, because some people who don't believe
Absolutely.
in that with low self esteem might slit their throat because somebody called them ugly or unattractive. I don't want to say ugly, unattractive, or you're not that type. And you just said that everybody's not everybody's cup of tea. You know,
I write about confidence. It's funny that you mentioned that because I write about confidence in the last chapter, and I just really, really believe in that all women should be confident, especially. So I'm just not the one to care about who doesn't find me attractive or hot. The funny thing is, like, I was on TikTok last night because I'm
hmm
starting to like build up my TikTok because my friends like really told me to get into TikTok, and a lot of people were calling me ugly.
hmm
Um, in like the so TikTok will hold comments for review that they
hmm
think are inappropriate, and a lot of people were calling me ugly in their comments, and it was absolutely hysterical to me. Like, it was just like it was so funny to me because it's like I only have one video. Speaking of makeup, I'm not wearing makeup. I have one video where I am making chocolates in on while on vacation in Mexico. I'm making truffles at this chocolate museum, and a lot of the people who commented, I don't even think saw the video because a lot of
hmm
people were commenting like saying, "Show us what you look like." So a lot of people didn't get to the video, but they know that it's important for them to call a woman ugly. And so it was hilarious to me because I know as more people discover me, people
hmm
are going to call me ugly, but I don't believe that about myself, and or I'm totally fine with anybody thinking I'm ugly. That's cool because plenty of people don't think I'm ugly. So I am thankful for my confidence almost every single day because you are going to be faced with a lot of adversity and a lot of criticism. And I'm so
hmm
thankful that I just brush it off and laugh it off as bullshit.
Okay. Okay. So, what would be some of the online dating hacks, that you could let people know?
Well, people or women, but I guess it goes for men as well. Women need to avoid the fuck boys, avoid the idiots, avoid the dangerous people. And so I outline my strategy for how to avoid those people. And because these apps are all about swiping on who you think is hot,
Hmm.
messaging who you're attracted to, that has nothing to do with whether or not you will have a good date or whether or not you will have a good relationship or partner. So I
hmm
really teach people in my book and through online dating behavior how to meet with people who are great, who are good people, good for them, and people
hmm
that they're compatible with so they could actually have a good time with, whether that's on a date or in a relationship or something more substantial. So it's basically the root of it is just really getting to know the people that you want to go on a date with. Kind of love is blinding it. So
Okay.
I teach people what to ask people on the apps, what to ask people on the phone, and how to determine if they should meet up with them, because I only have good first dates. I have only had good first dates for at least the past 15 years. And that is because I figured out how to not waste my time, how to not waste somebody else's time, and how to meet people that I'm compatible with, that I vibe with. So everybody could do that. If with the right tools, everybody should only be having first dates. Nobody should ever say that they had a bad first date. There's no reason for that.
So I want to ask you this. So you said you have good dates for the first, for the last 15 years. How many of them actually turn in relationships? Because if you went on 15 first dates for 15 years, obviously that shit ain't good.
You're taking it literally. You're taking it too literally. So I have had pretty much the vast majority of my relationships were from I met somebody online, like on
Mhm,
an app, online dating. And so those people were like my actual boyfriends. But I'm just talking about I've been on the apps for more than 15 years,
mhm,
and I've had good first dates for a long time. And it starts with a good first date,
mhm.
right? So a relationship starts with a good first initial meeting. So that's what I mean. It's not like I was sitting there just exclusively having first dates or a few dates for the past X amount of years. I'm just saying that I basically found a way how to foolproof having dates. And that's what I try to, or that's what I teach people so that they could have the same.
Oh, okay. So, okay, before we get up out of here, so you
You can
talked
take
about,
however long you want, by the way, just throwing that out there.
you said what?
I said you could take however long you want, just throwing that out there.
Oh, no, 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 no. I mean, I don't take that long because I try to keep it within the 25, 30 minutes,
Okay, no
as
problem.
I try to keep it within that. But so you talked about also stalking your ex on social media.
Is that a question or a
Yeah.
statement?
No, as a question. So have you, because you have it, have you stalked your ex on social media?
I love how it felt like I didn't know if it was a question or an accusation. This is absolutely hysterical. What I say in the book is that any relationship book that you will read or any interview you'll hear or article you read, it will all say do not go to your ex's social media profile. And what
Hmm.
I say is that I feel that that is kind of self-righteous advice to give. We
Hmm.
have all been to our ex's profile. Some of us will say it, other people will deny it. We've all done it. So I will never shame anyone for going to their ex's profile, because what I
Hmm.
say is sometimes you go to your ex's profile and you're the one who had a glow up, and you look at them and you're like, thank God I'm not with that person anymore. So it could be beneficial in that way if you're thriving and you're like, oh, I'm so glad that I'm not in that anymore. But I'm just saying that people stop stalking their ex when they're ready to. So I just think it's wasteful to tell people not to do it when we've all done it, and
Hmm.
when we're ready to stop doing it, that's when we stop doing it.
But say you got the energy of Michael Myers, you've been stalking her for 30 years.
What?
That you got the energy of Michael Myers, you can stalk for 30 years. If you've ever seen Halloween, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't. Or sorry, I haven't seen it.
He stalked Jamie Lee Curtis for 40 years.
Yeah, like here's the thing. Social media has not been around for 40 years. Most of the people that I've wanted to stalk all have private profiles. I have things to do, but
So you
do I
got
love
burner
it?
accounts then.
But do I love it when someone I dated looks so much worse? Yes. So I say
Why you being a hater? Why you being a hater?
there are benefits to stalking your ex.
Why you being a hater looking for that person's downfall? Why you praying on their downfall?
I didn't say I was praying on it. I just said it feels good when you're the one with the glow up. That's all.
Oh, this is crazy. You're crazy. You're too much for me. You're preying on people's downfall. That is wow.
You're so funny.
That is wow. But this is my favorite part of the show right here. Happens to be that you come on here talking about dating apps, and we actually got somebody who sent in something for a dating app. So y'all watch the show. It's called I Be Damned. And so this is what happened. I matched with a man on Tinder. He's a farmer. I'm a pet groomer. We vibed and it was a match made in heaven. He showed up for our date smelling like manure and looking like he just crawled out of the ground, buried prematurely with dirt under his nails. Hello, farmer, I said. He was cute though, so I took him home, bathed him, and fed him. He was a beautiful man inside and out. We spent the night together. Sex was amazing. In the middle of the night, he left, but said that he couldn't wait to see me again. I read a text message. It was a message from my Tinder date. Why did you stand me up? You okay? Who the fuck did I bring home? The next morning, my one night stand was outside my home with a shopping cart filled with trash and a handful of flowers that he plucked from my neighbor's garden. This man was homeless. Farmer misses you. He beamed. I let him back in. Yeah, so I'm dating a homeless guy and he's a great help to have around the house. I like him, but I'm embarrassed as fuck for obvious reasons, especially because he won't part with that cart. What the fuck do I do now? That is this week's I be damned. How would you handle that
Okay.
situation?
Okay. So I I wish we had a name for this person, but I guess that's not mandatory. What I would say is that dating this person, even if this person is helping you around the house,
Mm,
even if this person is good in bed,
mm,
that's not going to get you anything that you want long term. Because even if, let's just say, hypothetically, in 2 months, he gets a great job and he's doing well,
mm,
he's probably going to move on. And you don't know how long it will take him to improve his status, and
mm,
that length of time that it takes him to improve his status, if he even wants to, you're gonna probably become resentful because you're accepting the bare minimum, you're accepting crumbs. So for myself, there are too many other men out there who can do what this person does, who aren't homeless, that are worth my time and that are worth your time more than a guy who is probably using you and exploiting your kindness and your generosity.
mm. Okay. And then what she'll do, and 3 years later, she'll go look at his page to see if he's still in the same position. That's what you're gonna do to make sure you still hating on that man, right?
I don't be looking at people that far along, but I love that you think that's what I'm doing. But no, I don't be looking at people like years later. Nah.
She, she's praying on it. T Grizzly wouldn't like it, saying you praying on my downfall. But anyway, people, that's our show for the day. We'll be back next week, and I really can't tell you who I got next week because I forgot. It slipped my mind. Oh, Miss Katie. I think she died and came back to life. I can't remember. But I think that's what happened in her story. She died and came back to life, if I remember correctly. But anyway, thank you for coming, Joy. If you're looking for Joy's book, uh, So Drunk a Tooth Gotta Go. You can find it on Amazon. And where else could you find it at?
You could also go to my website, joyalicia.com. And my online dating service is onlinedatingsavior.com. But Amazon, Barnes and Noble, if you type it in, the different retailers will pull up, but I prefer Amazon preferably. But thank
Okay.
you
Well,
so
there's
much.
it go right there. That's her website. No, thank you for coming on and make sure I'll have that done for you in third. And right after we finish this, I'll write the review for
I
that.
had a good time.
And we'll see you next week. Same time, same channel, 7 p.m. Unfiltered tales. Don't stalk your ex. Praying on their downfall. If you
Oh
learned
boy.
anything from tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh my God.
Good night, y'all.